Hello children, welcome to another video session in maths. Today we start a new chapter, coordinate geometry, a very interesting chapter. Now in this you have already learnt about the number line, isn't it? So you will easily recognize this. 0 in a number line, you know that we have numbers, plus numbers on the right hand side, negative numbers on the left hand side, and this on a number line. Another important thing to be noted is all the numbers are equally placed, equidistant from each other. This is a number line. You know how to find out or plot points on a number line. Now suppose I have another number line, zero, 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. This is another number line, very similar to this, only that this is horizontal, this is vertical. Now suppose I bring this vertical line over here such that the 0 of this coincides with the 0 of this. Okay, this number line I am shifting here. Children, it should be straight. Such that this 0 is here. So here you have 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and so on. So what do we have here? Just two number lines such that the 0 of this coincides with the 0 of the previous one, and they are placed like this. So this is what we call a Cartesian plane. Okay, Cartesian plane, two axes. The first one, the horizontal one, we call x dash, or the x axis. Vertical one is y dash, or the y axis. This one is x axis, and this one is y axis. So in the Cartesian plane we have x axis and the y axis, the two of them meeting at 0. This 0 is called the origin. Zero is the origin. Okay children, now suppose I say you mark a point which is say 2 units away from the y axis. Mark a point 2 units away from the y axis. This is the y axis, 1, this is 1, this is 2. So this point is 2 units away from the y axis. Okay, now I can mark this point also. This point is also 2 units away from the y axis. This is again 2 units away from the y axis. So there can be many points. So if I say I want a point which is 2 units away from the y axis, just telling this will not give me a definite position. So what else do I need? I also need to mention how far it is from the x axis. Now suppose I say, please, I want a point which is 2 units away from the y axis and 3 units away from the x axis. Can we now find the point? Let us see. 2 units away from the y axis, and it has to be 3 units away from the x axis. This distance is 3 units from this is the x axis, this is 3 units from the x axis. So if I mark a point here, now let us check Is it 2 units far from the y-axis? Yes. Is it 3 units away from the x-axis? Yes. So, to get a definite position of a point, two numbers are required. Its distance from the y-axis and its distance from the x-axis. So, these 2 points, we write it in this order x, y, which is called ordered pair. Again, to be remembered, x coordinate always comes first, y coordinate always comes second. The x coordinate is also called abscissa. Abscissa. ABSCI, and this y coordinate is called ordinate. The x coordinate is called abscissa, the y coordinate is called ordinate, and the two together are called coordinates. Again, now just see here. Now I said we need two numbers to define a point clearly. Now suppose I say a number 1, 2. Now where will this 1, 2 point be? Let's check out. I said the first is always on the x-axis. So 1 on the x-axis and then 2 on the y-axis. So from here we move 2 units. So this point represents 1, 2. Okay, so the first number is always on the x-axis, second one is on the y-axis. Suppose I say a number -2, -1. So again the first one on the x-axis, -2. Where is -2? Here. And then -1 on the y-axis. These are all positive numbers. These are the negative numbers. So -1 we go down, we get this point. -2, -1. Now again children, be careful. -2, -1, and if I reverse the order, -1, -2, these two are not same. Why? Let's find out where will this point be. -1, -2. So -1 on the x-axis here and -2. So this point represents -1, -2. So -2, -1 and -1, -2 both are not same. Got it children? Again just see here. Let's take this point 1 and 2. We have 1 here and then 2 on the y-axis. Again just see this. What does this 1 mean on the x-axis? It means its distance from the y-axis. Distance means always the perpendicular distance. And what is this 2? 2 is the perpendicular distance from the x-axis. So remember this children. Okay, now let's come to another part. Now again we have this 2 axis. Now see here, this one, this 2 axis is dividing the whole plane. This blackboard is a plane, dividing the whole plane into 4 parts, and each part is called a quadrant. Four parts you can see, each part is called a quadrant. This one is the first quadrant, this is the second one, this is the third one, this is the fourth one. So the 2 axis divides the plane into 4 parts. Each part is called a quadrant. First quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant. Now just by looking at a point, you can say the point will lie where, in which quadrant. For example, if I take a point, suppose -1, 5. Now you see here, the first quadrant has positive numbers on the x-axis, positive numbers on the y-axis. So if both the numbers are positive, it will be in the first quadrant. Here what happens? X-axis, all the numbers are negative, y-axis, all the numbers are positive. So if you have a number of the form minus and then plus, for example this one, -1 and 5. So this point will lie where? In the second quadrant. Suppose again just see the third, what happens in the third quadrant? Both x and y are negative. So if you have a point, suppose like this, -5, -2, this point will lie in the third quadrant. And what about the fourth quadrant? The x-axis positive numbers, y-axis are the negative numbers. So any example of a point lying in the fourth quadrant? There will be many points. One such example will be, so first one will be plus, say 2, and this one suppose -3. So the first number positive and negative. This is positive, this is negative. So this point will lie in the fourth quadrant. Okay children, so understood. So just by looking at the points, you can say the point should lie in which quadrant. Okay, about the quadrants. Now suppose I have a point like this, 1, 0. Where will this point lie? The first one is obviously in the x-axis, so this one 1, and then 0 units in the y-axis. So from here 0 units, so we are not moving. This is the point 1, 0. 1, 0 lies in which quadrant? No quadrant. This point lies on the x-axis. Okay, 1, 0, the point is here and it lies on the x-axis. Similarly, if I have another point, suppose 0, -2, where will this point lie? 0 on the x-axis and -2 on the y-axis here. This is the point. So where does this point lie? Not in any quadrant, it lies on the x-axis. Okay children, so understood. So now you should be able to plot the points, or if a point is given to you, you should be able to write its coordinates. Come on, let us see. Now suppose I ask you to plot a point. Suppose you have -2, -4. First of all, tell me, where does this point lie? Which quadrant? Both are minus, minus, minus. So this should lie in the third quadrant. And how to plot the point? -2 and then -4. If you just go down -3, -4, somewhere here. So this point is -2, -4. So this is how we plot a point. Now suppose if a point is given, can you write its coordinates? Suppose I tell this one, point P. What are the coordinates of point P? On the x-axis, -2 and then 2. So coordinates of P are -2 and 2. Okay children, so I think you have learned about the x-axis, y-axis, this point. Achha, what are the coordinates of this point? Where the two axes meet, 0. The coordinates of this point, we call it origin. Coordinates of origin are 0, 0. So now you know this is the origin, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. This is the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant, and you know how to plot the points. Okay children, so this is all about your coordinate geometry and hope you have understood this. Okay children, so this much. Thank you.